As the uncertainty of the storm continues, people here in Central Florida are not taking any chances. Harvey may be what's prompting more people to prepare and stock up right now. Well, this just into our newsroom now. Osceola deputies are looking for a man who they say was exposing himself outside a motel. The man accused of killing 2 Kissimmee police officers will have a competency evaluation before his first court hearing. And I just wanted to touch base a little bit about that. Take us through the timeline, because we saw that during Hurricane Harvey. In many cases, rescuers and first responders had to wait until that weather passed. And for us here in Florida, I mean, it could be a good 24, 36 hours before Irma actually moves out of our state.
Lisa, you're exactly right.
As the death toll rises, parts of Houston near 2 swollen reservoirs are dealing with more flooding. The Army Corps of Engineers says it must release some water to avoid a much bigger catastrophe. But the water is now pouring into surrounding neighborhoods, and the controlled release is expected to continue for weeks. Okay, so I don't see the problem with good friends touching someone else's face.
So nice.
What do you think, Matt? You know what? If you were...
What possible reason, aside from pitching into this story?
It's having fun. We are following major breaking news right now. Kissimmee police confirming to News 6 2 officers have been shot. These are live pictures from the scene over Cypress and Palmway Streets in Kissimmee. That is right by US 192 and Main Street. Multiple law enforcement agencies from across Central Florida are responding to that area right now. I'm Lisa Bell. Yeah. Mandatory evacuations are starting tonight in the Florida Keys. News 6 reporters, including our Nadine Yanis and James Sparvero, are spread out across Central Florida looking at how the state is preparing for the powerful storm. But first, our Pinpoint Weather team is tracking Irma closely. Chief Meteorologist Tom Sorrells joins us now with the very latest. Tom. Already, some areas have seen almost 50 inches of rain. One area has surpassed 51 inches. Now, to help put all of this in perspective for us, News 6 meteorologist Candace Campos joins us now. Candace, really, it's hard to get our brains wrapped around just how much water that is.
It is.
Now, this is a very busy area in Kissimmee where all of this is taking place. As we take a look at the map, again, we've been saying this is all taking place right in downtown Kissimmee. We understand that the officers were shot at the intersection of Cypress and Palmway. That's just 1 block off of Main Street, just north of 1792 or 192 Vine Street, however you want to refer to it. There are a lot of businesses in this area. There's a Staples nearby, of course, a 7-Eleven gas station, a Save-A-Lot. There are hotels in that area, Checkers that we can certainly see from this live shot. So this is a very dense area, a heavily congested area, a lot of people. And when you get reports that 2 officers have been shot, you just can't imagine what might have led up to this and how many other people might have been around when all of this happened. Now, some 90 minutes later, the search still on for that suspect. We do understand that SWAT may have that person cornered right now. Mike Colfeld, of course, working those sources. The other thing I want to mention, you know, the Kissimmee Police Department, it's not a huge force. And for 2 of their officers to be shot in one night has to just be absolutely terrible for them to be dealing with this right now. But again, we do know that other law enforcement agencies from across Central Florida are responding to help them with this situation, including the Florida Highway Patrol, who've been asking people to try and avoid that scene if you can. It just makes their job so much more complicated. The garden discovery was made more than a decade after the ring disappeared. So Mary Graham says that, well, just take a look. That's not a finger you're looking at there.
It grew around it.
Right. She lost her ring while gardening on the family farm in Canada 13 years ago. She was pulling out a weed at the time. She searched but came up empty. Finally, she decided to get a replacement ring. Then this week, her family found the carrot that had grown around the carrot. Now the old ring is on the finger where it belongs.
Moral of the story, if you lose your ring in your backyard, just plant some carrots.
Or go out and get like a metal detector.
That was my thought.
That might work.
You know, unfortunately for us, and I imagine many of these officers, this seems kind of like deja vu. Yeah. It was just roughly 8 months ago that we were going through a similar situation when 2 other officers died in the line of duty in Orange County pursuing a suspect. And now many of these these officers who probably responded to that situation are now responding to this horrific situation tonight. It has been such a tough year for law enforcement agencies in our community, and you can see emergency crews continuing to respond to that scene. Yeah, we do know that they at least have the suspect in this apprehended. Our sister station in Jacksonville reporting, just to keep you up to date on what's going on up there. 2 officers were shot late tonight in the city's west side in Jacksonville. That happened at around 11 p.m. Of course, the shooting in Kissimmee happening right before 10 p.m. The conditions of the officers in Jacksonville are unknown at this time, and the Jacksonville Sheriff's Office is asking the media to not release any other information until they can confirm that those officers' family members have been notified of this. But again, certainly a strange night in Florida to have 4 officers wounded. 2 officers we know in Kissimmee now sadly have passed away. Don't know yet the condition of these 2 officers in Jacksonville. With at least 2 suspects involved in this, you have to imagine there are a lot of locations that police and investigators are going to be wanting to visit tonight, tracking down their associates to make sure that they have everyone in custody who's responsible or who's been aware of whatever happened out there tonight. We still don't know yet what exactly led up to this shooting. Do want to remind you, we do have several crews on the scene out there. Our Jennifer Ortega is standing by at a Staples, outside a Staples store there, waiting for an update from Kissimmee Police. They have a media staging area there. We are awaiting a news conference there. Another staging area is happening about a mile away at Osceola Regional Medical Center. That's where we are waiting an update from Florida Highway Patrol, and that's where we know at least one of those officers was taken after they were shot earlier tonight, just before 10 o'clock tonight. We understand that both officers were shot at close range, one officer being shot in the head. We know that both of these officers are men. They're described as being younger men on the force, less than 10 years. Our Mike Holfeld has been digging into this. He has several sources within the Kissimmee Police Department. Does not want to release their ranks just yet because we want to make sure that their family members have been properly notified. And it is such a tight-knit community and such a small force that so many people probably know these people or know their family members. And it is going to be just a sad, tragic evening for so many people in that area tonight.
The last thing is we're actually sending some crews across the country to check this thing out from the different vantage points.
It'll be interesting to see what it's really like here in Orlando. I know we're way far south from the actual line, but, you know, we might notice something.
80%.
The storm got stronger and is now getting ready to make landfall again, this time in Louisiana. Chief Meteorologist Tom Storrells just got the 11 o'clock track. Tom, when can the Gulf Coast expect a break from this? You're watching News 6 at 6, getting results. We will be right back.